Are you tired of studying for hours and hours only to feel like you've retained, well, nothing? Today, we are going to unlock a really powerful system that merges an ancient Japanese principle with modern science. By combining the discipline of kata with the intensity of deep work, you can build a framework to learn any skill, not just harder, but way, way smarter. Let's get into it.
Does this sound familiar? You spend all this time reading, watching tutorials, taking notes, and then a week later, poof, it's like most of it just vanished. You feel like you're just spinning your wheels, right? Constantly taking in all this information but never really making it a part of you. It's super common, and honestly, it's incredibly frustrating.
But here's the thing. What if I told you the problem isn't you? It's not your ability to learn. It's your system. You're probably just using an outdated, inefficient approach that we were all taught. Today, we're going to replace that broken model with a powerful three-step system designed to build deep, lasting knowledge.
Okay, so first things first, let's tackle the biggest myth in learning, that more hours automatically means better results. This whole idea of just grinding it out is fundamentally flawed, and understanding why is the first step to fixing it.
And this right here really illustrates the whole problem. We're all conditioned to measure our learning by hours studied, but that's just a terrible metric. The real key, the thing that actually matters, is learning density, the sheer quality of your focus in every single hour. I mean, think about it. 4 hours of distracted, shallow grinding is worth less than 1 single hour of deep, focused work.
So why does grinding fail? Well, it really boils down to 3 key reasons. First, it gives you this false sense of productivity, because your focus just inevitably drops off a cliff. Second, without a solid foundation, a kata, you're basically building on shaky ground. And third, our brains just aren't wired for random information dumps. They crave structure and repetition to really learn.
So, if just grinding away is the problem, what's the solution? Well, the antidote is a system. And we're going to introduce you to the Kata system, a really powerful framework borrowed from Japanese martial arts and traditions specifically designed for rapid mastery.
So what exactly is kata? The term refers to a fundamental form, a core pattern, or a routine. You can think of it as the perfect, most distilled procedure for doing something. In martial arts or the tea ceremony, you master the kata first, right? You build this unconscious competence. We're going to apply that exact same principle to learning any skill you want.
Our system breaks down into these 3 really elegant steps. First up, the input kata. That's all about how you take in new information. Second, we have the focus kata, which helps you systematize your concentration. And finally, number 3, the retention kata, which makes sure that what you learn actually sticks. Let's break them down one by one.
All right, let's dive into the first step, the input kata. This is all about mastering the way you take in information. If you get this part right, I promise, you'll immediately see a massive improvement in your learning.
Now here's the core principle, and honestly, this is a total game changer. In the beginning, don't try to innovate, just imitate. Find the fundamental kata from an expert, and your only job is to replicate it perfectly. Mastery has to come first, and then, much later, you can add your own originality. So how do we actually do this? First, you've got to apply the Pareto principle. Find that 20% of foundational knowledge that's going to give you 80% of the results. Next, and this is so crucial, choose only one master. Just one textbook, one instructor, one course. Hopping between a dozen different sources just creates confusion and absolutely kills your focus. Finally, your initial goal is pure imitation. Follow their system exactly as they lay it out. Okay, once you've streamlined your input, the next big challenge is creating an environment for deep, uninterrupted concentration. And this isn't about willpower. It's about building a powerful habit, a routine that unlocks deep work on command.
We have to stop thinking of focus as some magical state that we just, fall into. It's not. It's a muscle. It is a skill. And just like any other skill, it can be systematically trained and strengthened through deliberate practice and, you guessed it, a kata. The power of a physical kata to trigger a mental state is so clear when you look at legendary athletes like Ichiro Suzuki. Their little pre-performance routines, they aren't just superstition. They're a kata that tells their brain and body, okay, it's time for deep focus. We can build those same kinds of triggers for learning.
So here are 3 simple rituals to get you started. Number 1, the desk zero reset. Before you even begin, clear everything off your desk that isn't absolutely essential for the task at hand. 2, the focus switch. Use a sensory trigger, like a specific scent, a certain type of music, or maybe noise-canceling headphones. And 3, the first 5-minute write-out.
Start every single session by just writing down the one big question you need to answer. This gives you immediate direction. And listen, your focus kata extends to your breaks too. This is so important. During a Pomodoro session, you're focused on one and only one subject. But just as importantly, during that 5-minute break, you have to have a kata for resting your brain. And that means no social media, no checking email. Get up, stretch, look out a window, let your mind actually rest so it's ready for the next sprint.
All right, you've mastered your input and you've mastered your focus. The final piece of this puzzle is making sure all that knowledge actually sticks in your long-term memory. And this requires a shift from just passively consuming information to actively creating with it.
So, here's the crucial insight. The most effective way to learn something isn't just to review it over and over. It's to force yourself to explain it. The act of teaching, even if it's just to an imaginary person, forces your brain to structure, simplify, and truly internalize the information.
Here's exactly how to build your retention kata. At the end of every single study session, explain what you learned out loud for 10 minutes. Just talk to the wall. Then, find a teaching partner. You can share your insights online or just with a friend. And finally, create a feedback kata by taking any questions or corrections you get and using them to guide your next study session. It creates this amazing, powerful learning loop.
So we've covered the entire system, from input all the way to retention. Now let's put it all together and talk about how you can build your very first kata starting today, turning all these ideas into real-world action.
I really want you to remember this. Your success is not measured in hours. It's measured in high-quality repetitions of your learning kata. It is all about quality, structure, and consistency. This is the fundamental mindset shift that unlocks incredible efficiency.
And here it is, your path to accelerated learning. First, you're going to master your import by choosing just one source and imitating its foundational kata. Second, you build your focus kata using simple rituals to trigger deep work on command. And third, you lock in that knowledge by creating a retention kata that forces you to teach what you've just learned.
So, now the question goes to you. What's the next skill you want to master? And more importantly, what is the first simple kata, that one small, repeatable habit from today that you're going to use to start your journey? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your plans.